everyone, and welcome to another edition of Felixstowe Matters on another bright and sunny day here in Felixstowe today. And with the sun out, hopefully everything is going to be jolly for the town. Now, our guest this morning is Graham Newman.
Hello there, Mike.
Hello, Graham. Welcome to the settee yet again. You're one of our champions, if you like, for Felixstowe TV. Now, this morning, Graham, we'd like to just talk about issues in the town, or not particularly issues, but our thoughts on projects that are in the town, because this year is quite a watershed for the town. There's an awful lot of decisions that have been made and going to be made about how our town's going to look in the future. Now, there's the South Seafront building, which has started. Yeah, we've got the Spa, which is in great turmoil at the moment. We've got the town centre, shops closing, shops opening. We've got Walton Green, which is the Tesco's project. But let's just talk about the town in general, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, fine.
And this morning, of course, there's been big decisions, or it's been announced this morning or something, about the Spa.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Suffolk Coastal Cabinet decided that they are going to terminate the contract with Open Wide on the 6th of January. I'm not a Suffolk Coastal spokesman, but I heard this on
we're talking
another radio station in this morning. So, but I knew this was on the cards.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's a very difficult decision, really, because in a way, local government isn't really set up anymore to sustain a tourist operation.
No.
You know, it's... If you think, I suppose, of if you were going to spend any money on economic development, we'd want to do it on things which actually lasted for a whole year.
Yeah.
Rather than, at the end of the day, we have a season here, and obviously starts to come up just before Easter, and it dies down after October. So you've got 5 or 6 months of the year which are effectively fallow. And I mean, I don't think that's just a sort of a very top level consideration to all this. But I mean. The problem with a theatre, particularly the theatre the size of the Spa Pavilion, is that it's a huge auditorium. It's over 900 seats.
Yeah. And it's one of the biggest in the area.
Exactly, that's fourth or fifth in the whole of East Anglia. You've only got like Cliffs Pavilion at Southend, you've got a Theatre Royal in Norwich, you've got the Regent in Ipswich, and after that, I think everything is smaller than the Spa.
Smaller than us, yeah.
So we have a huge auditorium there to try and maintain, and at the end of the day, we've got television now. We didn't have television when the Spa was built. And it's only really a relatively recent years we've had sort of wall-to-wall television and hundreds of channels to look at.
Absolutely.
This is part like the changes which are affecting that sort of endeavour. It's also affecting Hamilton Road in the sense that more and more now people are doing their shopping on the internet. Well, and it's like however you try and engineer things, we're not going to change that. Yeah. That is there, we've got to live with that, and it's very interesting that the shops that do come and go in the town centre. And that's a point I think I really would like to make. I've heard a lot of prophets of doom about everything shutting down in Felixstowe. Yeah. That is just not true, and I think we really need to make the point today on this programme. We've got a few closed shops, and we've got one particular I saw halfway down Hamilton Road in the shared space area. It used to be the Lloyd's TSB building.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I think actually the bank is still paying the lease on that. And if the property was put back on the market, it would not attract the same money as actually they're paying.
Yes,
so
that's right.
we're locked into a whitewashed building probably until the end of that lease, I guess. So that is a great shame, really, because it's like quite a centrepiece sort of location. Yeah. And I think it does set that tone. But I would say, please look around. Shops are closing, yes. But shops are also reopening, and we were discussing this before this programme. 2 or 3 venues which have reopened and actually have been closed quite short time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
we're doing a series. We're doing a bit here at the moment with Felixstowe TV, and Mr. Mike Newman, he does a programme with us called Tabs, which is keeping tabs on projects and things in the town. Mike's a good champion of causes. Sometimes they get a little bit long-winded, but Mike's a great guy, and we're doing a bit on the town at the moment. And we was in town the other day, and we started at the top of Bent Hill, and we're working our way right up to the co-op. But there was one thing in particular. Let's start on Bent Hill, for instance. Ruby's closed. Obviously, they weren't getting enough trade because there was a cafe open just up the road, the cafe on the corner, whatever it was called. And that's now opened up as a East European restaurant. And then the little card shop at the top of Bent Hill there, near the taxi office.
Which is a fabulous shop.
It's a fabulous
You have to ask yourself, is there space in the town for like the likes of Clinton Cards or whatever, when you've got that card shop? It's a phenomenal little,
the guy there, the man that owns that business, has just won an award for the whole of East Anglia. He's been voted the best independent card shop in the whole of East Anglia, and he's got this lovely trophy and an award which was presented to him in a hotel in London and everything. And that's at the top of Bent Hill. As you say, in the main town, in the main Hamilton Road bit, we've got Clinton Cards, and we've got another card shop there as well, haven't we? So things are opening up. Across the road from that card shop was, what was it called? Vintage by the Sea or something or other it's called. It's a little antique shop opened up. So these buildings sadly we have got some closed, but there's things coming to the town.
Well, compare us even to nearby Ipswich. Obviously Ipswich is a sort of factor of 4 in terms of just the borough.
That's true.
Greater than Felixstowe, but going to Tower Ramparts, I think there's about 6 units in use at genuine retail offers out of 30, 40 units in that building. Yeah. Go to Upper Orwell Street. I mean, there's only about 2 shops open in Upper Orwell Street. We're not in that place in Felixstowe.
No, we're not.
And we should be very grateful for it. We're in a recession. There is a change in the way people are doing shopping. I think, as we were just saying about the internet. And we've got to adjust to that challenge. I'm not saying everything in the garden is lovely. Don't get me wrong. And a lot of us are working behind the scenes to try and improve those sort of situations.
Yes.
Like we're trying to get the Coastal Council to agree to a period of free parking during the day to help traders. And particularly where they perceive actually traders fallen off quite a bit for whatever reason recently. Let's try and address that, even if it's only for a short period.
Well, sadly, our town centre come about 3:30, 4 o'clock. The shops might as well close. There's nobody in it.
That's exactly what I've heard.
Yeah.
But we talk about this sort of Porteous business, and Lowestoft has just won some money to do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, in one sense, why don't just give the Suffolk Coastal Council to say we want a free car park? That wipes out that argument then about whether Morrison's has got a free car park, or whether a new Tesco's might have a free car park. Yeah. It goes away, and it doesn't actually fill up with people who are working in the town, because they have to be at work at 9 o'clock in the morning. And there should be charges on at that time of the day, but 3 o'clock in the afternoon perhaps, when we're needing to attract people in, people who are mobile, because like mums are collecting children from school, either on foot or in their cars, and they need to be able to get into town and get some stuff or whatever.
If you think about our town centre, we're quite well off for car parks really. We've got the big car park by the Triangle. Yep. Just down the back of Marks and Spencer's there, you've got another car park. And then round the other side of Orwell Road, you've got the big car park.
The Granby car park. And of course, you've still got the car park up at the station.
Oh, that's right, But each of those car parks are easy walk into town. They're just 2 seconds away. They're just round the corner from the town, And Marks and Spencer's obviously gets the through trade from the car park to the town centre. They're laughing there, aren't they?
Oh, it's, my wife, I know, is a person who responds to that stimulus, because she'll park in Highfield Road and pay. She's quite happy to pay.
So am I.
Goes into Marks and Spencer's. Of course, we always have a nice meal from Marks and Spencer's. She does this.
All of our food comes from Marks and Spencer's. It's very, very, very good value for money. But it is. It's good food, and you fill your shopping bag up, and it's 2 seconds back to the car. Bingo.
Yeah, dine in for 10 quid. I mean, that really is an amazing deal. Well, they've got that deal on. We go down there and buy 3 or 4 lots. Yeah. Keep us going for the next fortnight.
Absolutely. So I think the town centre has a lot to offer. Okay, the TSB Bank. I think there was a piece on the TV this morning where the Royal Bank of Scotland, which is part of TSB, may even become private, or not privatised, become the government's going to run it again. I've lost the word there for a moment.
Total nationalisation.
Nationalisation, that's it.
What they were talking about.
Nationalisation of that.
It's quite worrying, really. I mean, that is a if we can't make banking pay in this country, I think we've got a bit of a problem.
Well, it's a huge problem, isn't it?
Clearly there's been some misdemeanors going on over this mis-selling of stuff, and but it does amaze me because I've been offered those products. And in fact, from the number of texts that I get from solicitors all over the place, you would think I had an awful lot of them. I've never had one, but you may have some money to claim on this. All that stuff. And so you can understand why they've got to make a provision. Because,
absolutely.
But this is at the same time, like we've discussed before on here, when people in the town are in debt. Not really in a position really to be sort of trying to create a situation in which people are spending more than they are getting.
No,
because,
that's right.
There's a lot of debt.
But you've got to have the right type of shops for that, for the economy of the town, haven't you? This town gets no through traffic.
No.
You've got to come here, haven't you, to shop here. So unless you actually live here, you've got to come here. Talking about Ipswich, for instance, we used to go to Ipswich. We used to go, we just pop down Ipswich for the afternoon or for the day, do the Debenhams.
And now you find that parking's costing you more than what you want to spend.
I refuse to pay about £7 a day to park my car just to go to a high street where Tower Round Parts is almost shut.
Yeah.
It's a job to find the shops that are open. So we don't ever go anymore.
Well, there we are, folks. We don't have that problem in Felixstowe.
No, we
come and visit us, and you'll find all those big name shops there. We've just discussed Marks and Spencer. You've got your Argos, your Iceland, your Tesco's, very good co-op food store, regional factory shop. I mean, there's many, many more.
There's many more.
And lots of independent shops who really do give you that attention and that very special offer.
That's right. Starting up the co-op end, you've got Saxon Upholstery, that's run by Clive, but that's an independent shop, isn't it? Coming further down, obviously you've got the charity shops, you've got the bookies and whatnot, but then there's a lady opened up, she's been there less than a year, and it's called Defoe.
Oh yes, I've seen that one.
It's a fantastic shop. If you're after arty-farty things to go into your house, little quirky things, go in there. She's got some fantastic stuff in there.
And I mean, that is the sort of stuff that makes your house very individual, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, you're not going to get that in Tesco's or Morrison's.
No,
I don't care what you say. They're not going to be able to offer that stuff.
She is offering stuff that you put in your home, put in your bathroom, put in your kitchens, and stuff you think, that's an individual item. That makes your house a little bit more individual. Sadly, we've got Candlers, which is shut, but that didn't shut for that only because they retired, I think, didn't they?
Well, I mean, with the best of respect to the two gentlemen there, they have done their time in retail, haven't they?
They have,
and of course it's a big unit, and I mean, I suppose if you were an agent for that, and they'll have an agent there, it is a question really of now what do you do? Are you going to sort of have 6 or 7 micro shops in that centre? Because that's a thought now around the sort of internet world. Is that instead of sort of having this quite expensive and very fuel inefficient arrangement of sort of coming to your house with the stuff, that actually you dump it up in a central place. You use your shop to come and pick up your internet shopping, and I think there's people sort of working at that sort of offer. And that again is good because you see the thing that it does is to bring people into Hamilton Road.
Well, absolutely.
And then you've got the sort of shops that you were just talking about.
Just
then with that very individualistic offer.
I think the one thing this town is a little bit short of is men's clothes.
Well, that's Mr. Coates will be very pleased to hear you say that. But
there's plenty of stuff. Well, he's okay, of course.
It's a super shop,
super shop that is. But you come up, you want to go and buy a with it t-shirt and a pair of jeans. There's very few shops that you get a choice of. There's Burton's, but their stuff is. I wouldn't wear some of that stuff, but there you go.
There's Will down there on the left-hand side.
We've got Will's, I do buy stuff from Will's.
He's
again,
it's a very individualistic shop, and I know he's working jolly hard at the moment to sort of fight the influences of both the recession and rent reviews, and also the business rate, all of which have hit him. Excuse me, as a sort of triple whammy sort of thing, and that's some of the factors behind the issue. I mean, we talked about internet shopping, we talked about recession, but also these people are facing, big hikes in their rents or lease costs, and also, a sort of rampant increase in business rate. And you have to say, really, I think the national system has got to stop milking the retail offer if it wants it to survive. Yeah. And I can remember going on a train trip to North Wales, so last year I think it was, year before last, and ending up in Holyhead. Now, if you think of coastal towns, you think we've got a problem. Take yourself to Holyhead. Oh. I mean, it's like a mall with only about a third of the shops open, and that has disbenefited to some extent from out-of-town shopping centres. You come in on the train, you see them all lined up. There's an Asda and a Morrison's and all the rest of it out of town, and that has clearly had a very big influence in that part of the world. But to see a very run-down shopping centre like that, you think,
we're not that bad.
Let's hope that doesn't come to Felixstowe.
We've got a very pretty-looking town centre now. I think
the
improvements have made that. I think that looks really inviting. It really does, except for the cars that are still there. My little thing is get rid of the cars altogether. I know it's not true, but there's plenty of car parking around the town, as I just said. Why do we have to have them in the town centre?
I mean, I think one of the issues around vehicles being down there at all is that we're not going to have the shopping precinct sort of situation in which vehicles can be bought to do deliveries either out of hours, because we're not a top-line shopping centre, or by actually independent and sort of backdoor type access. Yeah. That's not going to happen in our town unless you demolish an awful lot of properties.
That's right, that is true.
In the future. So that's probably the reason why we need to continue to offer vehicular access there.
There's a secondary delivery vans and things like that, but I just think that with the car parks, the 3 big car parks we've got around Hamilton Road, that the odd ones that are allowed to park in the town there, I just think it'd be better without. But that's only my opinion.
Think of how it was before. We had people going down towards the sea. We had people parking on the right hand side there, and the whole thing would just seize up for 10-15 minutes at a time by people just sat there waiting for a space to come available. You know what I mean? Yeah. If people are going to behave like that, you have got to produce an environment in which it makes it more difficult to do that, really.
Now we had some we had a couple of 3 good days last week where it was really warm. And I went down to the seafront because me and my better half, we walk the seafront now and again, and it was absolutely packed. People everywhere, and I thought to myself, goodness me, this is really good for a midweek, where obviously the holidays season has just started, sort of thing. But how can we get all those people that are on that seafront into the town? What do they walk from the seafront into the town? This is what what attracts people up into the town, because we get quite a few older people down here, don't we? They've got one big hill to get up, and whichever way they try and get up into the town, they've got to get up a large hill. So what can we do to get the people from the seafront to take part of the town as well?
Well, I mean, this is going to be a difficult problem, I think, for us to crack. Excuse me. Because to put that sort of traditional seaside cliff railway in is just not going to happen. I mean, the nearest you're going to get to that is a proper lift. What sort of structure are you going to put that in, and where, and how's that going to be funded? There's people with ideas about that, but I would be very supportive of doing it, but I realise that there is also a cost in terms of outlook to existing residents and possibly traffic flows as well. Yeah. So
usually the Victorians didn't think of this, because they were good people at putting lifts in, weren't they?
And of course these days, I mean, although it's expensive to put the lift in, I mean, the sort of provision that you've got is pretty enduring, and it's electronically controlled, and it's fast, and it's you think about perhaps the Linton to Lynmouth Cliff Railway, or the one at Hastings or something like
absolutely.
that. Absolutely. At Bournemouth, you've got the Christchurch, haven't you? It's not that sort of thing I think we're looking for in this day and age. But it's probably something that looks more like a shoplift, but outside, isn't it? Really,
it is
an office lift,
just to get people up to the top of the hill.
But that's got to be. To be frank, Mike, I think that's got to be in the context of a development of, a hotel, perhaps, or possibly a redevelopment of the spa, should that day ever come,
Absolutely.
But still, you're going to make access then in Hamilton Gardens for people to get to that, and that's not the widest of roads, and people have got an outlook, which they won't want to have spoiled, So it's quite a conundrum, is that? I mean,
there
we have been talking
people
about
that go to the seafront and probably never get up into the town.
Well, we've been talking about trying to get some additional signage, making the sort of not so much as direction to it, because I think most people know it's there, but it's like a reminder.
Yeah.
The town centre is up the road. And some years ago, in fact, long before I was a councillor, and I used to do quite a lot of printing work, I did get involved in producing a brochure which Chamber of Trade sponsored, which really tried to show that link between the seafront and the seafront activities and entertainments and the eateries and pubs and such like, with the shopping centre. So we had on one side we had the whole of the seafront and all the attractions on the seafront, and then it said, both sides of this thing referred to, you can go up to the town centre, and of course the town centre, so go down to the seafront, and I've been talking with my colleague Councillor Barber about how we might try and upgrade the Felixstowe Great Days by the Seaside brochure next year to reflect that linkage. So that's something else we're looking at doing. Going back to the sign things, I mean, again, there is always this contention between sign clutter and doing that sort of reminder type thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, like people who want to see the benefit, I guess, of people coming to town by spending some money in Hamilton Road, they're going to be having signs all over the place.
Yeah.
And there's an awful lot of other people who say, the sign clutter is already at a pretty intense level, really, on Undercliff Road there, Undercliff Road West there. We don't want any more. So that's another balance we've got to strike, really, on the grand scale of things. But I think there's scope for doing some of that, and I'm able to fund some of that because we had a very small portion of the highways budget is actually devolved to local councillors. Only about £8,000 a year, but Nick and I can pull ours together. That's £16,000.
Absolutely.
Still not enough for a zebra crossing, folks. I know there's someone out there thinking, why don't you put a zebra crossing in Langer Road or something like that?
Yeah.
But the problem
we're okay for zebra crossing.
Well, the trouble with it, and there's been a request for zebra crossing along Sea Road as well. It gets very busy on that corner there opposite Wilco's.
It does.
But the problem with them is not only do you have to do the sort of infrastructure work, and that's sort of like £40,000-50,000 worth of work, but then you've got to pay for those lights which keep flashing all through the night, and that is a charge on electricity. You probably think, well, a couple of lights switching on and off, that's not an awful lot of money, but it has to be maintained. It has to be the appropriate standard. Yeah. The costs are phenomenal, really, for what you're buying.
Yes,
that is an issue.
Yeah. We don't want to paint a bad picture about Felixstowe, because I think Felixstowe is actually wonderful.
Well,
I love Felixstowe. I know there's a lot of I know there's a few warts on the wall, and you've got that place on the corner opposite Wilco's, just up the road there. There used to be a nightclub. That's one eyesore. But if you look at the whole range of Sea Road, if you look at the whole range of Sea Road, most of the properties up there are actually in good nick.
That's right. Well, I mean, I think the problem is with property investment. The people who bought those properties, they're in there for the long haul, and we're talking about possibly recession for perhaps 2 or 3 years, for all we know, or longer. But they're looking at what's the prospect going to be in 50 years' time, and that is like at the moment farmland. The price of farmland is just escalating out of control at the moment. Yeah. We don't see much about it as people in the sort of straightforward retail market, because you and I are not involved in buying farms. Might buy a house every now and again, and there's not an awful lot of activity in the housing world. The money's all being put into farmland, and all on the basis of what we might be able to grow to supplement our fuel needs. It may not just be a food requirement. It may also be a fuel requirement as well, with the growing of sort of oil type plants, or plants from which oil products can be derived, of which there are a growing number of processes available.
In the town, we used to have an open top bus service. Is that gone?
No, it'll become. I think it's probably restarted this week. I think so. Yes. It's run by Ipswich Borough Transport. You come down here, I think, on Wednesdays and Sundays.
Right.
And I think that will be running. All the signs are out for it.
Oh, great stuff.
In fact, I think I'm associated with an organisation which has helped fund its brochure, which goes into all the sort of hotels and things.
We've got one huge seafront. If you go from Langard Which is
but it starts at Landguard and goes up to the ferry.
It goes to the ferry. You must be talking almost 4 or 5 miles.
It is about
4 or 5 miles from one end to the other. And you know, the people who visit our town, they come to the Sea Road area of our seafront. But you know, if they used to go just the other side, go from the golf club or down towards the golf club, we've got a fantastic beaches down there now. And there's it's a very pretty place. You've got the ferry.
Well, that may be something which viewers don't really realise, that you can now go to the viewpoint area down at the dock, and you can start a walk there, right down to the Landguard Point, and then back up along in Felixstowe Bay, right up now as far as the Fludgers area. Because you can't go beyond there just at the moment, because they're putting a path in. So you've actually got to go off the sea there and go up to.
You've got Jacob's Ladder. They're going as far as Jacob's Ladder, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right.
Walk up and round.
But you'll have to do a little bit inland there, and then they'll take you right up to the ferry.
Absolutely.
So you've got a continuous walk. My daughter and myself walked that last year. And all the fencing that used to prohibit you going anywhere near the minerals landing point. That's all been removed now, and very little of the infrastructure of that is now left.
They're going to develop the viewing area at Landguard, aren't they? There's plans to redevelop that. It's going to be a visitors' centre and cafe, isn't it?
Sort of enhanced restaurant area and information point.
Because it's becoming very popular up there now. You've got the fort and the museum, and now Landguard Common is being promoted as well. And the bird people are up there. There's a lot going on.
But we need to sort of keep people mindful of the museum, because it's an excellent piece of work. Really dedicated volunteers running that.
I know.
And they put on some really good shows. And
I know.
They've got good stuff there relating to the Diamond Jubilee and the Olympics. Had a special exhibition there this year. They changed that theme each year.
Yeah.
So
they had a phenomenal coach. They had a model of that coach for the royal wedding. That was beautiful royal wedding coach they had.
And they're doing a vintage vehicle rally down there. Can't remember the dates, but it's later on in the year. And,
well, Graham, I think we've sorted the town out.
That's right.
But it is a fantastic place. I love Felixstowe. I moved here 30 years ago, and I wouldn't move out. I love it.
Well, I'm going on holiday this month, and every year I come back and say, why didn't we just stay in Felixstowe? And I bet that'll happen this year as well.
I'm going to
change as good as the rest, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to Cornwall.
Well,
I love Cornwall. It's my part of the country. I love it. But Felixstowe is so much to offer. Thank you, Graham, for coming in, talking to us yet again. It's always a pleasure to have you here, because we can talk about such nice things. So
it's a pleasure to be here, Mike. Thank you very much.
We'd like you to come back and see us.
28th of August, I think. If you've got viewers who are waiting for my next appearance, 28th of August it is. So
that would be fantastic. Well, thank you everybody for watching. We'll wrap this up now, and we'll take you on to the rest of our